two largest economies meeting at a time of trade tensions. But as they head into these talks, President Xi will feel that he has a strong hand. China has stood firm right from the outset, right since Donald Trump implemented those tariffs, and they increased. They've shown an ability to take the pain and to leverage its economy. Now, when it comes to the kind of actions China's taken, it's leveraged that chokehold on rare earths. Remember, China processes 90% of the world's rare earths, and that means the world is reliant on it, including US car manufacturers and including the likes of everyone who makes a smartphone. So they've leveraged that. They've stopped buying US soybeans, hitting Donald Trump where it hurts, in the rural heartland among his own voters. And as I said earlier, they've shown an amazing ability to take the pain of these tariffs. When I've been visiting many Chinese factories right in the likes of Guangdong, in the real heart of China's manufacturing centre, the one thing they said to me is like, look, we will take this, we will take on America. And then, of course, they've diversified their supply chain, their exports. They no longer sell as much to America as they did before. Even in the last year, for instance, it used to be about 20% of Chinese exports went to the United States. In the last 3 months, it's only been about 11%. So President Xi will be in that meeting thinking he has the upper hand. Both sides will try to appear strong, but we'll wait to hear the details of this deal in the next few minutes.
Yeah, and Laura, we often use the phrase tit for tat when the tariffs and the disagreements going back and forth with China and the US. But really, as you've alluded to, China is willing to go toe-to-toe with the United States when it comes to how they deal with each other. And as we've just witnessed, that very short remarks from the leaders there, and a sort of brief handshake before they went off to have their discussions, and a very different tone and a vibe to what we've seen in the past few days here in South Korea, in Japan, and Malaysia before that, where all the other world leaders were really doing their best and their utmost to please and flatter President Trump. And as Jake, I was discussing with him earlier as well, that China just isn't here to play that game.
Well, remember, President Trump has been going from ally to ally, especially between Japan and South Korea, and here there is a really strong bond with their ally, the United States, despite the protests that we've seen on the streets. However, President Xi has decided not to play that game. Beijing has learned lessons from Donald Trump's first term, and what they've done this time around is escalate to de-escalate. So even ahead of these talks, making it even more difficult to procure rare earths. You now have to go to the Chinese government and ask permission before you can get those rare earths, and that's not just the US, that's around the world. So basically what we're seeing is a China not playing the game that the US wants to play. They're not prepared to hand him, for instance, enormous gold crowns or medals of honour. But that's not what you're going to expect from the world's second superpower.